All right, people, welcome back. Okay. All right, I see most of you have let's see here. I see most of you have gotten a decent way with your activity. All right. Oh, as usual. Let me check. You guys can hear me okay, right? And hopefully you can
Yes,
see the
sir.
screen. Okay. All right, great. All right, looking great. I wonder, it look like some of you hurry up and do some quick tidying up. Say, oh, I have to take a picture, so let me tidy up the place. Anybody that had to do some quick tidying up?
No, sir. We're always neat. Always neat.
Oh, but of course. I had no doubt. All right. I see some interesting technologies here. All right. Kings, I see you have a tablet. You have an X Pen Deco 2. You here, King? Hold on, is King here? Let me just check. No, not yet. Don't look so. Okay. All right, cool. Let's see. Who is here? Who is here? Is No, I don't see Dante. Oh, yes, Dante is here. Dante, I see you have a tablet as well. Oh, look like Dante, look like you're connecting. I don't see your microphone icon come up yet. So, okay. All right, let's see who else we have here. I see some people taking away my, well, no, oh, same TV. Okay, all right, Darren. No, Darren not here yet. Hold on, who is here? Who is here? Who is here? Let's see. Tara, I see you having the essentials of life, the bare essentials, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Um, let's see. You this is a right. So you have your phone is good to go. We can do the exercise with the phone. I see you have a nice Predator laptop, so that should get the job done, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. So how do you tackle your like sketches and stuff like that? You do physical notes?
Yes. More physical, sir.
All right, cool. Cool, cool.
Well, I also could use my phone as well, but
But of
more
course.
yeah. Yeah.
Right. All right, great. Great stuff. All right. Who else we see here? I see Krishani, are you here? I was calling your name earlier, but you were
Yes,
only
sir.
here in spirit, but you're here in person. Oh, welcome. This is an interesting tablet. I've never heard of this one.
Um,
Huion.
Huyan. Huyan,
Oh,
it's a drawing tablet as well, sir.
oh, cool. So both
Yeah.
you have both a drawing tablet and an iPad, so you could really draw on any one of them, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I tell you. Unfortunately, with the iPad, you will have to get one of those $100 or $150 pencil.
That's expensive. Great, that's the job.
Ah, okay, cool. All right, interesting. And of course, the great news about the tablet is that it doubles as a second screen, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I see you have a setup there. Do you use a tablet for like any kind of sketching, design studio, anything like that?
Yeah, mostly the tablet for sketching and drawing plans, all of that.
Ah, so tell me, when do you use the iPad then in your workflow of doing work?
Friends, I've not yet integrated it fully into
Oh,
my workflow. Yeah.
Is a recent like you had the tablet first?
Not even like recent. I just use the iPad for art stuff, and sometimes it just happens that I might use it for architecture.
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool. All right. All right. Well, the good thing about the tablet is that
it's
you know,
portable.
you can yes, exactly, and the battery life is much better than the laptop. All right. Right. All right. Lewis, I see you have an iPhone along with
Yes, sir.
some other persons. That's great. That means your practical assignment will be a little bit easier to achieve, right? It don't mean you necessarily will get more marks, you know. It would just be a little easier maybe. But you have all of the stabilization happening. Right. Okay. So that's interesting. So have you integrated the iPhone in your workflow? Like how do you use the phone as a part of being productive?
Sir, well, if I'm doing quick notes taking, I'll use it for that, and then I use it with Canva. So if I doing anything with Canva,
Mm-hmm. So so when you take notes with the tab with the iPad, you type.
the iPhone,
Yeah.
yes, sir, type
Sorry.
in the notes app.
Oh wow, that means you have like lightning thumbs, right? Because you know. All right. And of course, I see you use notes. All right, that's cool. That's cool. All right. I see some other iPhone persons. So then Reeves, I see you using two laptops. So one is your second screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it that the MacBook is actually the second screen? Or are you
Yes, sir.
anyone? Oh,
No.
that means you use the PC more.
Yeah.
Wow. Are there any Mac fans here that probably saying, how dare you use the Mac as a second screen? Nope. So do you use the Mac for production any at all?
Well, the MacBook is shared, but the other person use it for production. I don't.
Oh, I get it, I get it, I get you. Right, right, right. Okay. So when you have control of it, you use it as the secondary screen.
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. So you are more of a PC person than a Mac person.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it is in architecture. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of. It's very hard to survive without using Windows. Even firms, the firms that I work at is primarily iPad, but I mean, almost everybody has to have. Anybody heard of Parallels, which is a way of installing Windows on your um, on your MacBook? Is this MacBook one of the M series um or is it the Intel? Are you you're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. I asked because if it is the M series, then you would be at an advantage for video editing. It is like blazing fast with video editing. So you can check and see. If it is, then perhaps that assignment you might do it on the Mac. Then again, you have a pretty decent Lenovo. So right. Okay, cool. Who was I going to first? I may not get to every single person. I'm just trying to highlight um I'm trying to spark some conversation because maybe some of us look at another person's setup and say, I didn't think of that. That's interesting. You know what I mean? Right. I see Jeremy have a second screen as a laptop as well, right? Here is Jeremy here. Let me see. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
do production on both computers, or is one of them like
Or just
only good
razor
enough?
blade.
Yeah, I figure primarily razor blade, which is
Yeah.
essentially the MacBook of PC, you know?
Right. But like if
Right.
I'm doing any work that I need to see the other screen, I'll just get the laptop and just play the video or whatever I need to play. And then
Okay, okay.
work on the razor. Yeah.
All right, cool. That sounds good. That sounds good. Oh, and I see you using their note-taking app is going to be the notes app, which I figure you take notes on your phone. Okay, cool. Cool, cool.
Right. So
All right. All right, cool. Um um I see some persons that are more tactile with their setup. Um let's see. Let me see if there's any. Who was I saw one earlier that I wanted to ask about. Um I said, Tara, you have an official second screen, not a computer as a second screen, but the actual second screen, right? Is that a Android tablet or is it a Mac? Apple, what's it called? iPad.
On an iPad, so
Okay. So do you do sketching on the iPad or?
sketching and notes.
Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, actually, your second screen is another computer, actually. All right. All right. So, does your other computer do the heavy lifting? I
Definitely,
suppose. Yeah, man. I can definitely see you have a nice video card there. So, when it's time to get all twin motion and all these things, you make it do the heavy lifting, right?
I call it my final crit.
Ah,
So.
okay, cool. I see. Yeah. It's always interesting to see what you guys have as technology going into fourth year because pretty much what you have now is going to carry you into the professional life, right? And hopefully some of you would have gone through all the transitions of during over the years for updating and figuring out the right laptop to get and all of that stuff, right? All right, cool. It's definitely good that some persons take the time to think about the visual appeal, because if you're going to be stuck in a corner for a long time, then you want it to be visually pleasing. And when you really think about it, it's primarily for you, not necessarily for the persons that are seeing you on video, right? So, I mean, the space that I'm in now, it's this way because I feel so that I can feel good when I have to come into this space and work for hours, right? All right. Okay, what we're going to try and do for these sessions is try to go through as quickly as possible. So usually we'll try to get done before the 9 o'clock mark. Let's see if we can do that. All right, as usual, anybody who participates in the class activity, they get the participation point. You know how it is already. It's not really about the the how you put it now, the layout and all of that. It's more about did you participate or not. All right. I was wondering how I don't see any LEDs in other person's space. All right, Dante, I like your setup. I see you have only
sir.
a desktop. So what do you do for? Oh no, actually you have is that's an Android tablet or is it a iPad?
It's an Android tablet, sir.
Okay, so for portability, that's what you use primarily.
Well, really, I'd use my laptop, but I'll loan it out, so I don't have it right now.
Okay. So this is what you use for heavy lifting.
Yes, sir. That's my main. Like,
That's your main. All right, cool. Nice, nice. I see you have a camera. I think I saw somebody else with a camera. I think it was a Sony, right? So that is great. The interesting thing is that for our cinematography exercise, the phones actually make it a little easier, but the cameras give you more options and flexibility. And for the persons who have a camera, we have a debate coming, well, not a debate, I would call it a discussion coming up when we look at cameras versus cell phone cameras, because cell phone cameras has gotten really well, and we usually have a discussion on, do we still need a camera nowadays, on, what's the real difference. So we take a peek under the hood to see if it makes sense having one of those cameras. All right, so what I'm hoping that you guys do is look at each other's setup and the technology that each of you use. Ask each other questions like, how do you combine these two things and how do you make them work? So for example, the persons who use two computers, right? How do you work with them together? Like, how do you get information across? Do you email it from one to the other?
Telegram, sir.
Say again?
Telegram.
Are you
Can handle all the
Telegram
big
them one
files.
another? Or do
Mhm.
you use interesting little apps that are free, called like Input Director? Anybody ever heard of that? Input Director? No? Okay, you can write that one down. So Rodrina and who else did I see with two computers? Right, write that one down. Input Director, it's a free open source app. Allows you to use multiple computers from one computer, and you can copy and paste between them, all sort of stuff. All right. So that is also interesting. For Mac and PC, might be a little bit more tricky because that's a PC only app. Right?
Google Drive works for both of them.
And there you go. You can use your Google Drive, right? I don't know if you are like me and sometimes you get confused, like when you're using the mouse and which ones are you at? Which computers are you at? All right. Regina, how you find the Acer Concept D? Do you like it? I've always had an interest in that laptop, but I didn't get it.
Yes, sir. I remember we had a conversation. I don't remember if it was first year or second year, and I had
Right.
told you about this dream laptop, and I got it. It's okay. I'm not gonna say it will change your life. I'm not gonna lie. It's just okay, mainly because I don't use the touch screen that much, if I'm being honest. So when it flips over into tablet mode, I have the iPad that I can use with Procreate, and Procreate is what I'm mainly using now. So if I was probably
Right.
like more into Photoshop and stuff, I feel like then it would change my life. But for now, it's just all right.
Right. It's interesting how the software drives the hardware, because even if you have this awesome technology, your workflow and your software need to support it, And of course, the best drawing experience I've ever had on a tablet, me personally, is the iPad, and that's not even the new one; it's like the old one. So I think the Surface is, the Windows side, they're pretty good, but the tactile nature of the iPad. Anybody else ever use one of those matte coverings on the iPad for sketching? The one that gives you the friction, make it feel like paper. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Pretty cool. Those are pretty cool. Because without it, it kind of feels like your pen is sliding all over the place.
True,
You have to
but
take used to it.
in my
Hmm.
experience, it's not so bad. And the matte finish that feels like paper, it rubs down the tip of the pen. So you'd have to
Oh,
be changing the tips
yeah.
constantly. So it don't really make sense. It's just more expensive, in my opinion.
There you go. There you go. You see, so this is why it's good to have these convos, just in case there might be other persons that might be thinking, hey, you know. So there you go. All right. So, all right. Let's see if we can move this along. We don't want to be here too late. So we want to talk about digital note taking, right? And we're going to be using OneNote as an example, but it doesn't mean that, that's like I don't work at Microsoft and all of those things. But the reason why I'm using that as an example is because it's kind of like the AutoCAD of like notes. And my objective is to show you some features that a digital note-taking process should have, and then it's up to you to use whatever software you want that has those features. All right. So I don't know of all of them. I've used a couple, Evernote and the Notes app, and all of those. But it's mainly about certain features that I like to call them contemporary features that by default I think all note-taking apps should have, but not all of them have it. So I want you to be able to supercharge the way that you collect notes and process notes. All right. Okay. All right. So let's see. Okay, here we go. All right. So earlier we were talking about the environment and the hardware. Thanks for participating. I love the setups. I always say that fourth year is where the dreams would come true, because in second year when I meet you guys and we're talking about computer specs, and it's just like you're seeing these expensive computers and it's just like, how am I going to afford this? And then fast forward to fourth year now, and it's like, most people have found some solution. If they never get the one that they wanted, they get close to the one that they wanted. But you guys have to get something to do the work, because as you realize, architecture requires that you have some decent systems, right? So now we're going to talk about the software part, but specifically about note taking, right? And I want to highlight these 5 main features that you want to look for. Now, especially for those of you that are going to be going on to, further education and elsewhere, and you start to go into heavy duty research, or you start to do more research, or when you go into the work world and you have to conduct some kind of investigation on something, you went to school, the guardrails of an assignment is no longer there. So in school I might give you an assignment to say, okay, research on this building and how it affects whatever. But when you're out there in the work world, there are no guardrails. You have to know how much you want to research and where to stop. You know what I mean? And I mean, you just searching for something nowadays gives you wild results, even with the guardrails of an assignment. And then you multiply that with AI, which give you results which are usually good most of the time, but especially when you want to be sure of things that you are researching, you have to double check it, because I guess you guys have heard of I forgot what you call it, when the AI imagines, it can construct things that don't exist, right? Make up artists that don't exist, make up books that has never existed, but it really sounds like it existed, right? So you have to find that you will have to do double work to kind of, hey, let me check if this thing actually exists. So most of this information needs to take place in a digital platform, right? And somehow you will have to find a way to merge all of the skills, all of the tactile skills that you have, writing and that kind of stuff, with the digital aspect of things, right? So a digital notebook must cover these 5 main areas, and each one of them, I see some of you with some different apps, and each of them has different levels in each of these categories. Like one of them might be great with organization, but not so great with accessibility, and vice versa. So let's start with the first one. Actually, I want to start with, I'm going to focus more on multimedia because this has to do with data, and that's going to be the most important category in our discussion here. So I'm going to zoom into this a little later. Let's take care of the other low-hanging fruits first. Accessibility. So notes can be accessed from multiple devices. This is a pretty, reasonable feature. Some of these apps have some kind of closed ecosystem. What do I mean by closed ecosystem? Who can tell me?
So like Apple's ecosystem where you'll probably gonna be able to get your notes from Apple devices.
Exactly. So that's one of the things to consider. I mean, if you only use Apple devices, then sure, you have no problem. Well, from what I see here, I don't see any diehard live and die Apple fans. I see some people probably dip them toe in Apple, and that's about it. That's not surprising for architecture students, because you need the flexibility. But yeah, that's one of the things to consider, right? So if I'm gonna use, I don't know, the sticky notes on my Windows computer, when I'm in the field, how am I going to access my sticky notes? Or if I'm going to use the Apple Notes, and fine, I have my phone, but then you might be in another situation. Well, most of us always have our phones on us. That's the good part. And a lot of these applications will run on the phone. But a lot of you have your desktops for your heavy lifting, right? So, you do this research and now you're ready to jump in Twinmotion or Photoshop or whatever it is, and you need to access your notes in a way that is efficient. You need to copy and paste this picture that you found, and you took this image and you need to paste it in this, I don't know, poster that you're working on. So it's not only about having the information on your phones, you need it to communicate with whatever other devices you have, right? So this one is pretty straightforward. What about backup and accessibility? I mean, some people give you a little bit of storage, some people give you a lot. The next one I want to touch on is collaboration, right? Especially in architecture school, but going forward, if you need to share your notes with somebody else, I mean, you can always just copy it and paste it in WhatsApp or Telegram and send it. But then, notes is a thing that has a, how do you put it? If you ever notice your sketchbook, right? So for example, Tara, when you have your sketchbook and you're doing your sketches, there's multiple forms of information that links together. So you might be doing a sketch of a part of a building detail, but then there's information that you also want to link with that sketch, right? So maybe it's text information, so you write a note beside it, which is the most popular way of collecting notes. You have some kind of diagram, and then you have a description beside it, right? But if you need to share notes with other persons, how you've laid it out in your notebook is probably the best way to share it. So if you if you segment it, let me send you the picture that I have. Let me send you the notes that I have. Let me send you this link to this video that was related to the notes. The person who you're sharing it with doesn't experience it in that exact way. All right. So, how easy is it for you to collaborate with your notes? You guys are about to go on a study tour, so think about walking in this environment, and each of you are collecting different forms of data. How are you going to share that with each other? Is it I don't know, Google Docs and everybody jumps in the same document? Is it WhatsApp? I advise not, So anyway, collaboration is one of those things, and we're going to come back to that one. Organization. This one, especially you guys are in fourth year now. Can any of you find any of your notes from second year? Anybody still using the same database that they used in second year? And they can just scroll back?
Sure, my database was on paper.
Mostly notebooks back then.
Right, exactly. And I understand, you are learning, but going forward from here on, think about what you experienced over the last 4 years and then project it, I don't know, 10 years, right? So, in the future. So think about maybe some of you go on to work in an architectural firm and you're working on different projects. You're going a meeting with the principal architect and you take notes on different projects. Years go by, and maybe the architect say, hey, I gave you this detail last year, so just look on that note. It's like, okay, where did I write that down? Was it in a book? Where exactly is it? So now going forward, you need to consider, how am I going to store and organize notes going forward? You have used the last 4 years to kind of experiment, I guess you could call it that. So now is the time to pick a digital way or a hybrid way going forward. Hopefully you pick the best experience and learn from whatever mistakes. You know what I mean? What about that notebook you put down somewhere? I know you can't find it. Right? But there are other lessons in the digital realm as well. You place something in a Google Drive, but you accidentally deleted it. Or maybe you shared it with somebody and they deleted it. Right? So whatever information you collect, you need a way to categorize and organize it. Or else it's like, imagine if I worked in the CSA archive and helped to digitize and organize the archive. It's still in the process of doing that. But I remember looking at some students and they have 5 different sketchbooks. If you really need, think about it, if you really need to access that thing that you did 2 years ago, which notebook is it in? And if you know the one, what page is it on? All right. So think about that from a digital perspective now. That thing that you copied from a website and you did it, but you have no idea where you saved it. Did I put it in WhatsApp or did I put it in notes? Did I put it in OneNote? You have no idea where you save it. So this is where the organization come in. You need to pick a way of storing your notes that not just now, but 5 years down the line, you can find it. All right. And the last one, well, second to last one, this ties in with the first one, which is archiving. So this is what I mean by you coming back years later. All right. But the one that I want to hone in on is multimedia, and I'm going to call it /data types. And the reason I want to zoom into this one is because nowadays there is so much data in the world. Like you can, has anybody ever do anybody think they can reach the end of the internet? What is the end of the internet? How would you describe that?
Is there such a thing, sir?
The end of the internet is when you have seen everything that the internet could possibly have to offer. Right? Every video on YouTube, every, I don't know, post on any one of the 5 major social media pages. It's practically impossible for you to reach the quote unquote end of the internet. So I'm just saying,
and that even exclude all the dark web as well, sir.
Exactly, you have those, exactly. So there is so much data out there, and not to mention physical data, like when you go out and you take a picture of something in the real world, right? A lot of that exists as well, but digitally it's an information overload. And perhaps the most important thing going forward that we're going to be using is, how do you capture different forms of data and link them together so that it communicates the very reason for you capturing the data in the first place. And I'm going to give you some examples that we're going to tackle together. Because when you go to research something or when you go to look up something, if you think about it, half of the information, like only a small part of the information you find as text. There are YouTube videos, there are links, there is physical entities, like you have to take a picture of actual place. There is voice if you had to interview somebody, right? There is video in the sense of you have to capture a video. All of these are all digital, but if you need to link different aspects together holistically on one notebook in one area, so that when you're looking over those notes, you can put the pieces back together, how do you do that? So I went and did a search for my my notebook a couple years back, and where is it? Here we go. The archive here, right? And I didn't have an iPad at that time. This was when I had like a note, right? And this is a notebook from a couple of years ago. There are different pages, right? But look at the type of data that's here, right? Of course, there's copy and paste from the internet. There is also handwriting, right? There is pictures. Let me see if I can find some other information. There is video, right? And if you know, this was for example from a lecture. There was something that was pinned up, so this is a photo of that. Then there are some notes that was taken based on that here. Horrible handwriting, by the way, right? But there's also ideas that came to me while taking the notes. And then, for example, the speaker would refer somewhere or something. So I would do a quick Google and find it and stick it on the notebook. Or sometimes there is even video that links to the notebook, right? So this is, for example, you're combining various types of media together. And it is primarily digital, yes, but there is, for example, photos of the actual lecture. So there is a link to the physical part of the data that you're collecting as well. All right. Additionally, there are recordings. I was looking for that. This is an awesome book, by the way. If you guys want to learn to design streets, right? And there's there's just so much stuff. Now, I don't remember those 2 years of note taking, but I know that there was a discussion on um um urban transit, and this is where the power of search comes in, because when I search for the word urban, it would highlight to me where those are. And the great thing is that, for example, if I type adult, if I type the word adults, it even finds it in your notes. So this is what I mean by being able to archive and organize, right? And as I say, it doesn't have to be one note, but I'm just showing you these ideas so that going forward, you pick one that has all the features, and you don't pick one for storing note type A and then pick one for storing videos and then pick one for storing like recordings. Like, trying to put that together would just be a total mess, right? So here, right. Let's see if I have any more in this example. There are some videos, and a lot of it looks primarily like this. Some of them are tables, maybe. I don't remember where I got those tables and those other forms of research. Additionally, I was looking for some that had voice notes, right? Like, especially when it comes to like you trying to research something, right? And we do this a lot in architecture. You have a design and there's a rabbit hole of doing research. You find one thing and then you go to this article and then it leads you somewhere else and leads you somewhere else. And before you know it, you're down this rabbit hole and you're like, how did I even get here? Right? So being able to leave yourself some cookie crumbs so you can find your way back to the surface and the only way to leave cookie crumbs, some of the crumbs might be videos, some might be voice recordings. There's so much different data types that you can store these crumbs in. You have to have a way to record them all. So I do believe that the future is digital, right? And you can still take a physical notebook just the same, but there's going to be digital information that you want to capture. So you need to have a way to capture that as well. And I mean, the course is advanced computing too, so we're going to try to focus with the advanced computing aspects of it, right? Okay, so let's look on some of these. I want to show some examples here, right? Now, what I have here are some of the checkboxes that you should look for when you're storing notes, right? When we're doing the infographic exercise next week, I don't know if we'll get to it today, you're going to have to do a little bit of searching for things that are anywhere, could be on the internet. Chances are 90% of you will find the stuff on the internet. But I need you to capture this information, and they're going to be stored in different ways. So I want to give you some examples of ways in which you can capture information beyond the regular way of just writing notes or pasting a link or copying text, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to open a new notebook, and I'm going to do my example first, and then you guys will follow afterwards, right? With when you're doing yours, but this is just demonstration primarily, right? So I'm going to do it in my OneDrive, and I'm going to call it AC2. Probably shouldn't store it here. Maybe I should store it in UTEX OneDrive, notebooks. Oops. All right. Okay, I'll just do it in my personal one. All right. So I'll call it Advanced Computing 2 Notebook. And I'll just create this notebook. No, I don't. It's asking me if I want to invite people. No, not now. All right, so I've created this notebook. It's pretty blank. And let's do some examples, right? So maybe one of the most basic things that we will want to do with a notebook, especially in architecture. Let me see if I can find it here. Let's complete it to here, and let me preview this. Okay, let's look on this picture here. All right, cool. So we have this picture here. By the way, this is an awesome design. It is from Sapphire Studio. They're on the other side of the planet. They're an Iranian studio. They have an awesome website, by the way. Let me see if I can find it for you, just in case you want to go down that rabbit hole. Sapphire Sapphire Studio. Yeah, there we go. Come on, right? This is their website. Pretty cool, and they have their projects, and they have these interesting little diagrams for each of their projects. You know, but anyway, that's not why we're here, right? Some of the things that we might want to do, we do a lot of labeling and a lot of research, maybe based on, I don't know, aspects of architecture. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to copy this picture and I'm going to try and fit all of this in one screen. Let me see if I can do that. So let's just say I'm looking at parts, elements of the building. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. And I want to insert a screen clip of that picture that I just showed you. Okay, hold on. Let me get a better. Yeah, there we go. Trying to fit everything in one zoom window so that we can see it. All right, you know what? I'm gonna stick it over here. Right, I'm gonna stick it over there just to capture the screen clip so I can get it nice and large. All right. Okay, let me get a better one. Let me see if I can get a better one. Screen clip. Yeah, that's much better. All right, so right away, when you capture any digital information, one of the features that we are looking for is thing that has to do with text. And these are basic. Almost any digital application has spelling, dictionary, translation, all of this stuff. Some of them have them as like an extension or different third party, but ideally you would want your note-taking app to have that. So for example, if I want to search for, I don't know, roof, it would be able to find the text in this image for me, right? Now, let's say that we're labeling entrance. And let's say that the type of information, let's start with the basics. Maybe you're trying to define what an entrance is. So maybe you do what we typically do, and we jump on the internet and we jump on Google and we say, what is an entrance? And we might find a definition here, and we might grab that. Let's grab it right here. And we do a lot of this, and we stick it on a page. Now, one of the first things you notice is that OneNote will keep a link to where you got the information from. So, okay, that's a good way to do this. And from a visual perspective, and I zoom out, you want to show that this thing that you just copied and pasted from the internet is linked to this here. So you want to perhaps do some kind of diagramming. So this is where you go to the draw, and maybe you don't even have to get fancy with like that kind of stuff, but maybe just basic shapes and arrows to say that definition here is based on that word there, right? So now we're starting to build out linkages on a note page, right? All right, you guys are seeing my screen okay, by the way? Anybody following? Have I lost anybody?
Yes, sir. Following.
All right, cool. All right, so we're starting with the low-hanging fruits. Now, there might be other information you want to collect. For example, with the text there, suppose there's things you want to research. Maybe you found the definition in another language, or I don't know. Well, what you can do is highlight and say, okay, translate, or do some kind of search. Maybe, it gives you an instant kind of search that you can pull from, or maybe you want to look at another word for this word here. So you use your dictionary and see you get some other options here, right? So, I mean, this is stuff that your regular Word or Google Docs or whatever they have. The difference here is that we're trying to get it all in one place, because we don't want to be jumping between Notes and Word and Google Drive and WhatsApp, and we're trying to put it all in one place, because you will see further down the line when we come to archiving, we don't want to be looking for stuff that is somewhere else. We want everything to be in one place. All right. So let's continue down the list, and let's also look at sketch information as well. Right now, some of you have a pens, and some of you don't have digital pens, right? But let's say that your idea for an entrance, you have a sketch about that. Maybe it's a sketch of your design, and you want to link the definition of an entrance with this. Let's just call it a reference image that you have. So of course you can do regular sketching, right? And I'm gonna attempt to do this with the mouse. Okay, that looks like an entrance, right? Does that look like an entrance, anybody? Right? So maybe this is a part of what you want to draw. Maybe some of what you want to draw, you want the lines to be straight, so you can use like a ruler to get things lined up. I don't know, things like that. If you have a touch screen, then it's much easier, right? But yeah. Anyway, so if this is your entrance, maybe you wanted to label it your entrance. So you can, yeah, you can just go to regular writing rule and write my entrance design. All right. I hope you guys have designs that look way better than that, by the way, right? But anyway, so this is my entrance design, and you want to relate these together. So maybe you want to do, you want to just draw a circle around here, or just to show that, because remember, you have to think about, you're looking at this, I don't know, 10 years in the future. You know, you want to be able to know what you were talking about on that day. All right. So this is my design here. Cool. So you can do sketching. The next thing about sketching is that it is vector. All right. People from DDM, what do we mean by vector? Anybody? Anybody?
It consists of lines, basically.
Right. So meaning that, no, wait, I'm not giving it away. I'm not giving it away yet. Let's see if we can tighten up that description a little better. What is an advantage of vector? Anybody that remembers from DDM class?
Doesn't lose its quality as well, sir. So no matter how much in and out, the quality remains.
Exacto mundo. Right? So try and find where is here we go. Right. Exactly. It doesn't lose its quality. So that is great because you don't know where this sketch might end up. Now, some of us we do very elaborate sketches, right? This is obviously a little box right here, but some of you might get a little intricate. Some of you might even get carried away because you're in the zone there. Maybe you're in the zone of taking your notes, and maybe when you were performing this sketch, you were inspired by this thing you pasted on your note page, right, and you spent a good, I don't know, half an hour drawing your entrance. Now, all of that data is things that you could use somewhere else. Maybe you want to stick that on your studio sheet later in the future, or maybe you want to trace it in AutoCAD or Revit or whatever. You want to use that as a starting point to trace off of. The information that you sketch here is vector information, which means these are lines. So if I save this as what file format retains vector information?
Yes, sir.
All right. I was about to throw that one out to Janelle, but you stole her answer. So I'll have to save another one for Janelle, right? So anyway, yeah, PDF. So I can export this as a PDF. I'm just going to stick it on my desktop real quickly. And of course, Janelle, name me a application that I can edit vector information in. Janelle, is Janelle here? What about Tara? I know Tara is here.
So me?
Yeah.
So, hello, Janelle's here. Sorry.
Oh,
Hello?
you're back with us.
I was trying to unmute my mic. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, man, it's okay.
So, Illustrator?
Yeah, name me a vector editing. Exactly. Illustrator kind of gave it away earlier when you saw my screen, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right, so let me just open this up here. Here we go. And let me just, come on, just grab that thing that I placed on my desktop real quickly. Where are you? Where are you? You're here. Aha, there we go. All right. All right. Now this is vector information. So as you can see, there are vector lines, which is excellent because I can now further edit this information, these lines that I just drew, and I can develop on them. Like maybe you're a Illustrator, queen or king, and you use Illustrator a lot. Remember, we used it a lot last semester. So we looked at where we can combine different applications together, right? So that's great to know that the information is vector that you sketch, right? And there's also interesting things like ink to text. I can't test this one here because I'll have to test that I will demonstrate that a little later, but it is what it says. Meaning if I was writing notes, like my name, right, it would convert this into text automatically, right? So that is good to know in case some of us prefer the tactile nature of writing, right? It's not going to do it for me here because I don't have the pen. I'm using a mouse, right? All right, let's continue our journey down this feature listing, right? All right, this is also interesting. Image, copy text from image. So remember that some information we have are our text information, right? So for example, let's say we're talking about the roof this time around, or we can still be on the entrance if we want to be. But some information that we collect might be as photo, right? So and I don't know how much of us has had to deal with finding information, but the information is really an image, right? So for example, I'm going to take a screenshot of this here, right? So let's say that I found this great article about the entrance of a building, and I wanted to put it here to link all of my notes together, but this information is an image. I can right click and copy the text from my picture, stick it here. All right. Now it's not perfect. If you notice, it gives you these, it can give you these weird symbols like these, but the idea is that sometimes you might want to grab information. So in this case, I'm going to say this information here in there, right? So, and I'm just sketching that there. All right. So yeah, you can grab the text, and this is not just good for text documents as well, but it could be photos. Maybe anybody has been to a museum and they took a picture of like a description of a piece in a museum. Anybody? That was the only way you could get the information.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So now you're able to sorry, I'm trying to find you an example here. Kind of doing this on the fly. Yeah, so maybe you found like this document, but you went somewhere physical, and that was the only way to get that information. Like this is a picture of something. Come on, move over here. Right, this is a picture of something here, and it's great that I can just copy this text here, stick it like that. Again, you have to check it because some of this may not be exactly correct, but you get the point what I'm saying. So now you are merging notes from the physical world into the digital, right? Remember I told you there's opportunity to bridge the physical and digital. So this is how you would do that, right? So I'm going to say captured text from this image. Now, this is going to be super helpful, especially when you go on study tour, you go to a lot of museums and you need to get certain information. You can thank me later. All right. So let me put that there, and I'm just going to duplicate that. Put that over here. All right. All right. Cool. I'm going to grab this and stick it over here. All right. And this is an infinity page. So I can zoom all the way out to where everything is tiny. Or I can zoom in. It's, you know, yeah. All right. So let's see what other features. Let's talk about video. Now, this is super interesting, right? So we can have a video link or video embedded, right? What do I mean by embedded? Anybody?
So I guess that it's a part of the website's code in a sense.
Well, true. That's a nice technical definition. But like if you find, and this, like, I know a lot of you get information from YouTube or from Vimeo or other videos. It could be a video of a vlogger on a social media. This is where it becomes very helpful, because let's say that this was the video that I wanted, you know, maybe.
Sir, haven't you done one of those on the mirror board before?
Exactly. Mirrorboard does embed videos as well, right? That is pretty cool. So like this video here, let's pause that. Wait, let me get back to my OneNote here. There we go. Let's go back to this video. Let's drag this link. Over here. And now the video is embedded. And we can play it directly here, providing you have internet connection. Oops, that's a bit loud. All right. Now, additionally, there are some parts of the video that, like, this video is 8 minutes long, but maybe there's a particular part of the video that you wanted to capture, maybe like right here or somewhere in that region. Then, of course, I'm gonna have to try to fit these two windows beside each other. Give me 1 second here. All right, let me just use this feature. Right. Of course, you can use the insert and where is it? Screen capture. Capture it here. All right. And there we go. Let me just kind of move it. Oops, let me try and move everything together. So it does take the screen capture and it gives you, sorry, everything is just a little messy, but there we go. It gives you the date that it was taken. It doesn't give you the website though, because it's a clip, right? And this is where you have to link the info. You have to provide visual clues. So for example, here I would say, nice entrance idea. Exclamation. At 4:18. But it's coming from this this video. So let's see here, nice entrance idea, which links to that up there. So right, so I'm tying this information together so they know that, hey, this came from that, and you know, and this is different types of information. This is a video embedded, this is a screenshot, and this is notes. 3 different types of media, but you're getting the full story. Like you can see the rabbit hole. You can see that it started from the entrance and this was a sketch and this led me down here. And so you can track back to where all of these notes led, right? All right, let's continue. We have a couple more to check on. So, and the link is also embedded. Now, audio is really interesting, right? So So let's say that you had, this is my design, but I had my own idea. And sometimes it's easier, like when you see something, to just say it rather than type it out. When you type out something, you ever heard any of your lecturers say to you all the time that you have an idea, write it out, draw it out. The reason that you do that is that when you have to write out something, your brain is forced to process that information before it is expressed through your hands, right? So this is why if you're caught up in emotions, you will blurt out something out loud. You'll cuss off somebody because it's kind of like your brain is connected directly to your mouth, so you will just say it. But when you have to cuss off somebody in writing, it tends to sound a little different because you have to process that information before your hand types it or writes it. You know what I mean? So in some cases, you want to get the raw information. And in other cases, you want to get the processed information, right? So maybe you had an emotional response to this entrance design and you want to just say it quickly so you don't lose it, right? Maybe it's hard to process fully as a sentence, because maybe you type it and you're like, no, it doesn't sound right. Let me erase it. There should be a comma here. There are all these things that you're thinking about when you're writing, but you can just say it. And this is one of the other great things as well. So I could just insert a audio recording, right? And it will put the date and everything here, and it will give it the title of the page. And I'm actually recording now, by the way, so let me stop recording. All right, so now I have saved this recording here. I'm not sure if you'll hear it. And we'll put the date. Okay, were you guys hearing that recording?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is another type of information. I like to call it raw unprocessed information because it's the actual recording, right? That's here, right? And this is from the computer. I'm doing this on the desktop app. But we're going to hop over to the collaboration aspect in just a little bit, right? So this could be me expressing an idea about this design. So let's tie that information together using our sketching ability, or we can use shapes. So we're tying that information together, right? So this is a recording, and we know it was taken on this date and this time. Now, still on audio, right? Oh, am I still recording? I hope not. No, I'm not. Okay, right. All right, so still on audio, right? Before we continue, I want to hop over a little bit to collaboration, right? And here we go. A lot of us have our cell phones as our main note-taking device, right? Most of what I've shown you a while ago is on the desktop. So for those of you who have like a desktop for doing the heavy lifting, if you think about it, when you have, how much of us have no less than 50 Chrome tabs open when we're doing our research, right? And that's only in one Chrome. Some of us has multiple Chromes open, or Firefox if that's your fancy, right? So you need like a desktop to do all of that juggling, right? But some of us do this on our phones. There we go. Right. So I wanted to show you a little bit on the collaboration part as well. All right. So plug that song. All right. Can you guys hear me? Hope I didn't plug out something for Zoom. You can hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir. Just
Right. You can never have too much USB ports, so I wasn't sure which one I plugged out just now. All right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about collaboration, right? So here, that's over here, and here we go. Come on, I hope my card works. Oh, yeah, this card is too long. All right, here we go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the mobile side of things, right? So this is my phone here. Let's go to my home page, and we're gonna check out OneNotes. That's right here. Now, if I wanted to share this notebook, I could go to share here, and this is what you guys are going to do for when we have our class activities, right? When we're sharing a notebook, it shares the entire notebook, right? So right now, this notebook just has one section and one page, but it would, if you had 10 pages here, the entire Advanced Computing 2 notebook would be shared, right? So it isn't possible to share one page. You have to share the entire notebook, right? So let's say I wanted to share this. I could go share entire notebook. And I will just, anyone with the link can edit, and I will just copy this link here. There we go. And that's it. It's now shared. So I could email this or WhatsApp this. Just WhatsApp it. Let's imagine that.
But isn't what we're looking at right now, isn't that like an entire page? Why did you say?
Right. So this is an entire page. So for example, if I had a new page and this page was about the M plus pavilion project, this is a whole new page. But if I wanted to send, I could always PDF this and send it, but sharing, at least in this application, means you're sharing the notebook, right? So if you want a private notebook with all your secret thoughts, you would not make that information a part of your class notebook. All right, hint, hint. All right, so you put that in a different notebook. The idea is that you have, just like how you have different actual books for different subjects, is the same thing virtually. You have different, well, at least in this application, you have different books. But maybe if you're using like Evernote or Apple Notes, it's a little different. Maybe they put everything in one place, and I'm not really sure, right? So anyway, I just sent this link to the other Brian, and where is it? It's WhatsApp, and there we go. And that's the link there. And once I open this link, it's gonna take me to OneNote. Oh my bad, I have to put in my password. I'm sharing this thing here. And there I go, right? So I have my Advanced Computing notebook and elements of a building, and here is my page. that I have right here, right? So I'm going to keep this over here, or maybe over here. Oops. That one. Right. So I'm going to keep that over there. So let's talk about collaboration. And I mean, we're collaborating with ourselves here. So can't zoom out because I'm using the mouse. So then, yeah. Right. Okay. Oops. All right. It's kind of fine where we are. Right. So this is both of us collaborating. So if I share this notebook, yeah, Christian?
And I realized that just you accidentally typing that word, it instantly shows up on the computer.
Exactly. So I was just about to say, if I was co-designing this or doing this project with you, where I'm investigating this, I could put my own recording or notes, maybe. And guess what? Because I'm using a touch device, see if I can switch this to wireless. Because I want to show you this thing. View wirelessly. Does it work? Let's see. Requires pen. And yes, I think we are. Yes, we're wireless. Good. All right. So hold on. Let me. This is a note. This is a fold with a pen. I should have opened it before. Hopefully it works. Yes, it does. Thank goodness. I thought it would crash, but it didn't. That's great. Oops. Cancel. All right. Really? You're not going to resize? Okay, guys, you'll just have to kind of suffer through that. It's a little small, but yeah, hopefully you get the idea. You don't need to make out what's on the screen, but just so this time around, I can do notes. So I can say, yeah, like that. Great. Oops. Yeah. Put some exclamation signs there. Maybe I'm responding to that note there. So you can see how quickly it responds. So somebody's here, the other person is in wherever, whichever part of the world. That's great. And I can play this on this information on my device as well. Now, let's go a little bit deeper for archiving, right? Let me stick to my list here, make sure that so we were under audio. Let's talk about narration, right? So this is also a different way that you can keep notes as well. Now, I'm going to do it on the computer because I think it's just clearer to see. But a lot of times when you have an idea, or let's say that you're in a lecture, and maybe you don't want to store it as audio, but you want to store it as text, but you want to speak, then in that case you would dictate. So this is another feature here. So this is a test for dictating my idea for an entrance to my design. There we go. That probably made no sense, but you get the idea, right? So, and it's pretty accurate here. So I'll link this information to here, right? So dictation as well. I'm sure you guys can think back to times when you need to record notes very quickly. I know some of us type really fast. Unfortunately, I don't. So it might not be good. Like if if I was in a presentation, maybe I would record the presentation or record a section of the presentation. But if the presenter said something that I want to highlight, then I would rather just say it, right? Maybe rather than write it, or I would just record it. It all depends, all right? Different types of data, but you can all put them in the same place. All right, so let's continue. So we're talking about narration. Let's talk about, with the dictation, transcribe. Now, transcribing is, this I know a lot of you will love, right? And hopefully you can double check to see if your application support this as well. Now, transcribing is kind of like narrating, but are kind of like dictation. But with dictation, I am talking and it's writing. In other cases, you might already have something that's already a video, especially videos, or something that's already an audio. So let's say, for example, we're still on entrances. We've been doing so much about entrances. Okay. Let me see if I'll get lucky. Description of entrance design. Maybe that's too long. Okay, designing building entrances. I'm just going to grab one of these random videos. All right. Maybe this one. I like this channel. This person here has some great tips about architecture, so you can check out the channel there, right? But let's say that this was a presentation or a documentary. A lot of videos, as a matter of fact, okay, let's just use this as an example. Let's say you're doing research on a particular design and you find a lot of interesting documentaries that already exist on this design or this particular architect. I mean, the documentary might be an hour long, but there might be certain parts of it that would be really helpful for whatever research that you're doing. So this is where the transcribe feature comes in very handy. Let me see if I can fit it on the screen. So you can do transcription either by just recording what is playing. So for example, let me see if I can turn this up.
Every client is going to come to you with different project goals. It can be a simple functional goal.
So let's say you wanted to capture like 5 minutes from a presentation that was really good. You can just start recording here and press play.
Or maybe to maximize views or an energy target or improving the existing conditions, whatever it is, it's very important to understand this early on and let this guide the process, especially.
All right. And we're gonna save this transcription now. So, and oops, did I? Save? Oh, hold on. Oh, I don't think I can do this while using Zoom. Maybe not. Let me see. But essentially what you can do is if you're playing a video and there's a part of it that you want to grab, you can use the transcription feature, right? But unfortunately, maybe not while you're using Zoom. Here it, let me see if the recording. And the transcription is just like dictation. So everything the person says will get transcribed, right? I don't know if anybody ever used the transcription feature, like in some YouTube videos have it where they have a transcription. It's the same kind of thing.
Question, sir.
Yeah.
For transcription, it has to be on the same device, right?
No, because okay, the difference with transcription this is recording. Transcription, when you're recording, is almost just like dictation. They're kind of like the same. So maybe in this case, I would use dictation. But the difference with transcription is, let me show you, for example. Let's say I have, okay, how about this? Let's say I have this recording here, right?
Showcasing some amazing visual artists and their work around architecture, graphic design, and cinema, which makes Hong Kong really unique.
So this is just a random clip. I wish I had a different clip to show you something really cool. But anyway, so with with transcription, you can choose transcribe. You can new transcription, create a new transcription. Yes, I can upload any video or audio. So in this case, I'm going to upload this audio here, and OneNote will automatically transcribe the audio immediately. So you don't have to listen. So if you're transcribing something that's an hour long or a documentary that's 8 minutes, you don't have to wait for 8 minutes, right? So here we go, and it's now transcribed. And the beauty about this is that if you have two persons talking, it will actually detect different voices, and it will say speaker 1 and speaker 2. So if you were in a Zoom meeting or some kind of meeting, and maybe it was a discussion and there was an interesting part of the discussion, if you use the transcription feature, it will group that transcription by speaker automatically. And then you can just add this to the page. You can add it like, so you can add all transcription from speaker 1 or just add everything. And there you go. If I can.
Sir, we shall learn them things here from second year, no, sir. These things are, it's very useful and seem very efficient.
Right. Well, this is why I want you guys to supercharge your note taking, right? So anyway, so I'm gonna add to page and just the text with speakers. There we go. Right. So here it is. So there's the recording and with the transcription here, right? So this is another form. Let me delete some of these. Everything is getting kind of messy.
Can you
Yes.
put the participant block? Oh, it's not yours, it's mine. Sorry.
The right. This is your screen. Right. So this is that transcription there, right? All right, so that is transcription. How are we doing on time? It's now minutes to 8. Okay, so we now have embedded files, right? So for example, if I did so let me open SketchUp really quick here, right? And let's say in my notebook here, I love this entrance so much, so I did a quick sketch of it in SketchUp. All right, so use my line tool and just box this out really quickly. Pull, push, pull, and rectangular tool. There we go. Push, pull, and we say, all right, that's our entrance there. And we say, oh, this is an awesome sketch of this entrance, right? As I say, I hope you guys do better than this in your actual designs, right? So I could, of course, grab a screenshot. Screenshot here. There we go. And whoa, there we go. Sorry, my mouse is like super sensitive. All right, let me put this over. Great. I should have positioned my mouse accordingly before doing that screenshot. Anyway, here is a screenshot here, right? So I'm going to make this smaller and I'm going to put this here. I'm running out of space, so anyway. And I say, this is a great model. But let's say that I want to save the model as well on the page, right? Because maybe, I don't know, I want to share the actual model file, right? So I could save this SketchUp file. In this case, I'm going to save it to my desktop and call it entrance. All right. And I'm going to just insert a file attachment here. There we go. And we get this option. And well, we can't print it out because it's a 3D file. So we can save attachment here. So now we have the SketchUp file and a screenshot and then the idea here, right? And this SketchUp file, like if I go to my my phone here, like that's a SketchUp file there. Now, of course, the SketchUp file won't open on my phone because I don't have SketchUp on my phone, but you know, the file is actually there and it travels with your notebook. It does make your notebook heavier, so keep that in mind. If you want to attach a 500 megabyte file, that might not work out good for your data, right? Especially if you have your notebook running on data. All right, so I think we made it through a lot of these listings, but we still have one of the most important parts, and that comes to editing, revising, and archiving, right? Now, when you have saved this information, to go back to OneNote, you might want to use tags to highlight certain things. So for example, maybe you did something that you want to do later, like maybe this transcript spoke of a book that you want to look up later. Then what you would do is tag. So if I go to home here, there are different tags, and this is another feature that some note-taking applications have. So I can tag this line of text speaker 1, and the most popular tag is a to-do tag because we're always having stuff to do, but there are other built-in tags, like so book to read, I'll tag that there. Maybe this that I copied from the internet was important. I want to tag that as important. And then maybe this that I copied from this picture here was maybe a place to visit. Let's see. Well, maybe the tag isn't here and I want to make up a new tag. So I just go customize tags and I can just add a new tag of place to visit. But, you know, usually the most popular things that you want to tag is here. So maybe this is an idea. Cool. Now, the great thing is that now I can filter per tag. So imagine if you have 20 pages, but you want to see all of the books I need to read. Then these show you exactly where those are, and it will hyperlink directly to those tagged areas, right? So this example is kind of small, but think about it in the context of maybe like this notebook that I was telling you. So this is 2 years worth of information for one topic. I mean, and then there's all these other topics, all right? And thesis project, and this thesis, let me see if I can find a better one for you. Right. This thesis project here have so many pages. Like this was like 2 years worth of research. So, you know, there's a whole thing on this building, and then there's this building and this talk here, and this, I mean, all of this is hand-picked information. A lot of it is copy and paste, but a lot of it are images. Some of it are recordings. Some of it is people that I've spoke to. there's a whole bunch of this random information. Some of it comes from the real world, like there are places that I visited and took pictures, and some came from the virtual world, a YouTube video or something. But when you have this much information, tags become super important because now you can find exactly what you need. All right. All right. So let me go back to where's that notebook? To notebook. Right. Here we go. All right. So I think we've covered a hyperlink is literally just a hyperlink. We already do that in any other note applications. And we spoke about search picture and tags. So guys, we are going to be creating an advanced computing tool notebook. We're going to use OneNote just because it just makes life simpler, and I don't know all the note taking applications, so we'll just use this as an example. And when we create this notebook, some of the tasks that you're going to be given is going to be you're going to place these things on your notebook, and then you're going to submit either a link to the notebook. Well, you're going to submit the link today, but whenever we do a classwork that requires the use of the notebook, you would either print out a page or submit a link to that page, right? The cool thing about sharing the entire notebook is that I can copy a link to this paragraph, literally. So for example, if I have 10 pages here, but I want you to see this particular note, I can copy a link to this paragraph and I can stick it anywhere. Let me just stick it in OneNote. Sorry, in my WhatsApp. So this link will carry me should carry me directly to that paragraph. Hopefully WhatsApp doesn't mess with the link, but let's see if it works. Right, so on the phone. Right, so if I go here and I click on this link here, I think it's going to open it in the browser, unfortunately. But it should carry me directly. Oh, skip introduction. It's okay. Where are you taking me? Okay, you're making me sign in. Okay. Oh. Okay. This is the problem with it's using. Why is it using Edge? How did Edge get on my phone? I don't know. Anyway, oh, it's because it's a Microsoft link. Oh Lord. All right. No thanks. Oh, okay. But you get the idea, guys. Like you could send a link directly to a piece of text. So that way, if both of us are sharing a notebook and your notebook has like 20 pages, but you want me to see just this thing on page 21, you can just paste the link to just that page alone. And when I click on it, it will just jump straight to that page. Forgive me, there is one more that is my personal favorite, but it might not be yours. And let's talk about that. I actually realized I skipped over it. We did recording, dictation, transcribe. We didn't do narration. Is there anybody here that dreads reading through, I don't know, 20 pages of research paper? Anybody here that enjoys it? Or anybody here that dreads doing it? Which one?
Dread.
Just let it play in the background. You know that thing, you have a autoplay button when you open up PDF document on Microsoft Edge. Yeah, just
right, exactly. Now, because you have the thing about what I like about in this case is OneNote is when you're using like a word processor like Word or Google Docs or one of those, or even Google Sheets, not Sheets, Google what's it called, Slides, because they put you on a page, you tend to be more structured with how you lay out your notes. You know, you have to skip a line and you insert a line and that kind of stuff. But when you are dealing with ideation, and what do I mean by ideation? When you're just churning through tons of inspiration and pictures and videos and audio and talk, and you have all of these data types that's coming to you, and you want to just quickly grab from all these data types. You don't have any time to like, let me put this as a bullet point, let me put this. You just want to kind of grab exactly. And what happened is that if you even notice on some of the notes here, this is better organized because I had to submit this book. But like for example, like I have one that's called ideas, and like it would just grab ideas. This is probably because I have a phone, and these are just random ideas, and it would just grab ideas and write it down and then organize them later, because you have a kind of where is it, infinity page. You know, you can zoom in, zoom out, just drop this here, drop that there. So a lot of times, especially when it comes to text, there's a lot of copy and pasting, like so much, right? So sometimes you want to grab, I don't know, a 4 or 5 page document and read through it, and then you copy what you want, right? But one of the best things, especially for you guys in architecture, is that if you're doing something that's monotonous, like maybe you're building a model and you're cutting, you know, balconies out. So you have like, I don't know, 70 slices to make, and it's just very like monotonous, right? You can listen to your book or whatever research that you're doing simultaneously, or maybe you're driving or whatever. The trick with that is that, you know, most text to speech apps are kind of dull. Like the voice does don't do it for you. It sounds horrible and robotic. But the good news is that just like the one in Edge, I think they're probably driven off the same engine, right? So you can tell me your feedback. But let's say I have the M plus Pavilion project, and I'm going to bring up this Pavilion project. I'm sure that I can find some article here. This is mainly pictures though. But you know what? Let's say that I found this article and I want to just go through all of this information, you know, text, everything. I'll just stick it here on this page. It will come with the text and everything, which is great. It will also come with the link to the original source. That's super important when you're hurrying to copy and paste. And I can just go over to review and go to what's called where are you? Not review, it's view. Right, it's view immersive reader. So you can tell me what you think of to resize it. Crap, hold on. Right, there we go. Right, so this is the immersive reader, a feature in OneNote. And what this will do, you can edit the font size or the letters. It's like it restructured the document for you for only reading, right? And it can do some nifty little things like highlight nouns, adjective, syllables, and you know, you can do some little things here. But more importantly is the voice.
By Arch Daily. Share. Exhibition setting.
Okay, let's find something that's a big sentence like this guy here.
In September 2013, the Hong Kong West Kowloon Cultural District Authority launched an open competition for the design of the M Plus Pavilion.
All right. Let's try the male voice. Let's see.
Pavilion. The winning design went to the team of Pang Architects Ltd plus Jet Architecture Inc. plus Lisa Chung, which stood out from among 100 international entries.
All right. You know who it sounds like? It sounds like the guy on the American Airlines. Anybody been on American Airlines and you hear that commenter? Sounds like him. Anyway, but this is here, which is pretty good. So this can help you to filter through large amounts of information that you have to process in your mind. But the great thing about reading, for those of you who are maybe fans of audiobooks, you can read while cooking or driving or making a model or modeling your building in Rivet. Like you can have this information processed in the background, and when it gets to information that you really want, then you copy it. But what I would do, like let's say that it highlighted something interesting, I would just highlight it there and I would go to home and just tag it as important. And then I would continue reading, tag as important, and for those of you who want to get like really down into the details of tagging, you can make your own tags and get all crazy with that. All right. So yeah, I realized that I kind of left out narration. That was a big part. That's one of my favorite things to do. All right. I'm sure there are like other features that are there, but this is why I use OneNote as the AutoCAD, so to speak, of digital note taking.
Tomorrow, there is
right?
one event.
And hold on. Right. Sorry about that. Right. Right. But what I want you to do, this list here, in your favorite note-taking application, find, like, if you can check all of these things off, then your note-taking abilities will be supercharged. All right. So try and see if your note-taking application can have these things. For now, all that I require of you guys is that you're going to do what I just did. You're going to go to OneNote and you're going to create a notebook. One in your OneDrive. Hopefully you guys have some kind of Microsoft account. And then you're going to share that notebook with me via this link here. All right. Now, don't forget, what I want you to do is, so let me try to get, so this, for example, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. I think I can copy this. And I'm going to create a new page here, and I'm going to, it only pastes as text. Oh, that sucks. Anyway, you can just take a screenshot then. All right. So just screenshot. There we go. Let's copy that. Right. All right. So work area profile. Great stuff. And you can stick that on a page on your notebook. All right. And I want you to submit that link to me via this. Let me go here. Via here. You're just going to paste the link. And how you share is that you just go to share and you go to share entire notebook and you copy this link. All right. Now, this notebook we're going to use because when we're doing the infographics exercise, maybe there is some ideas and stuff and I can send to you or you can show me. We're going to be using this throughout the module. All right. So everyone should have a OneNote notebook, and that is what culminates your first activity. All right, guys, everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, other than that, I hope you
Sir,
guys.
Sir, oblige me. I just stepped away. So we're creating the notebook, and what is supposed to be in it again?
We're just sticking a screenshot of your work area profile on it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Just make a page, call it work area profile, and just paste it there. All right. So that takes care of our note taking exercise. Now we're gonna let me close these things here. Because we're gonna use that notebook, I want to make sure that everyone has that book ready. All right. Okay, guys. Now, the first topic that we're going to look on is going to be infographics. Let me see if I can find. Give me a second. There we go. Right. It's going to be infographics. All right. And if any of you want to record any notes from our session, I mean, I know that this class is being recorded as well, but I mean, it's going to be like a 2-hour recording, and like if you know that like it's better for you to make a note of something than have to watch back a 2-hour recording for when I said something. You know what I mean, right? So you can remember to use whatever note-taking app you want to use. You don't have to use the OneNote for this. You just need to use the OneNote for our assignments, right? But I'm just reminding you, whatever it is, to take notes. Don't just depend on the fact that that there is a recording that's there. Okay. All right. Now I want to show you an interesting video on infographics. If I can find my there we go. Right. Alrighty. Good. Now, what we might do this week is start this today and continue it next week. Anybody knows what infographics is? Anybody has an idea? Anybody?
It's like the use of simplified, I don't want to say clip art, but simplified art, basic shapes, and colors to kind of portray information in a way that's easy to understand through diagrams.
Ah, I like that definition. There we go. I was looking for my video to show. Yes, exactly so. Exactly so. Right? And we're gonna start a little bit from the source of infographics, right? And kind of work our way up to architectural infographics, right? Now we have some interesting videos to look at the power of infographics. I might have to skip through a little bit. How long is this one? This one is, it's not very long. All right. This is Hans Roslin. He's like,
create link and then share, right?
Yes, create link
Okay,
and then.
good. All right.
This is kind of like the infographics Bill Gates kind of guy, right? And he's been known to make graphics dance or something like that. I don't remember what they count it as, right? But there is some information. He did a very famous video, right? And this is a short version of it. I have the long version, but I don't think we'll be able to watch all of it. Oh my goodness, where is it?
Can you see the submission, sir?
I will check it in just a bit. Aha, I found it. Here you are. All right. So this was pretty cool. I found this a couple years ago. I'm gonna try and skip through because it can be quite long. But by the way, this is almost an hour long, so we're not gonna go through all of it. But I want to show you the power of infographics, just general infographics, and then we're gonna work our way into architectural infographics. By the way, these videos are on the class website. Minimize that, close that. I think I put most of them on here. Oh man, I think I covered them. Okay, yeah, they're right here. So I will I will give you a window so you can view them. Right, so you can watch the videos on your own as well. Let me edit that. But anyway, let's check out parts of this video. I'll play the introduction and then another part. But first, let's... Come on. Uh-huh.
Should we be worried? Should we be scared?
This was about overpopulation, by the way, and this was done 2016.
Third audio.
Oh, you're not hearing any audio. Oh, barely. Oh, my bad. Sorry. There we go.
Of people to new megacities, filling soaring skyscrapers and vast slums. Ravenous appetites for fuel and food, unpredictable climate change. And all this in a world where the population is still growing. Should we be worried? Should we be scared? How to make sense of it all?
Seven billion people now live on this planet of ours. Isn't it beautiful? But when some people think about the world and its future, they panic. Others prefer not to think about it at all. But tonight, I'm going to show you how things really are. My name is Hans Rosling. I'm a statistician that... No, don't switch off. Because with the latest data from all countries, I'm going to show you the world in a new way. I'm going to tell you how world population is changing and what today's data tell us about how the future of the world will be. We undeniably face huge challenges. But the good news is that the future may not be quite as gloomy and that mankind already is doing better than many of you think.
Babies, each one a blessing. But many people think population growth is out of control. Some even talk of a population bomb. Are they right?
So where are we with population today and how did we get here? I'm going to tell you a story about everyone who ever lived. Well, at least during the last some 1,000 years. Here we go. I give you two axes. This is time in years. And this one here is world population in billions. In the year 10,000 BC, when the first people were becoming farmers, then the archaeologists estimate that the world population was only 10 million. Imagine 10 million, that's like Sweden today. A world of only Swedes. But then, as the millennia passed by, more farmers, food and people, and great empires could emerge. Egypt, China, India, and finally Europe. And population continued to grow, but very slowly. And I stop here at the year 1800, because 1800, that's when world population became 1 billion. Imagine all that time, the population growth was just with a tiny fraction of a percent through thousands of years. But here, 1800, with the Industrial Revolution, everything changed and population started to grow faster. In little more than 100 years, it reached 2 billion. And then, you know, when I was at school, it was 3 billion. And many people said, the planet cannot support more people. Even experts said that. But what happens was this, you know, we became 4 billion, 5 billion, 6 billion, 7 billion. Imagine, more than half of the world population have been added during my lifetime. And the number is still rising.
Most of the population growth in recent years has been in Asian countries, like here in Bangladesh, where the population has tripled.
Right. So some parts of this will go into a little bit of a documentary. And to tell you a little background about it. But the parts that I want to highlight for everyone here is the way how you communicate massive amount of information, but graphically, right? So for us in architecture, we're communicating massive amount of information. You know, the research you did on your precedent study, the research you did on the architect and your concepts and all of that. But I mean, from this point of view, you're talking about billions of data points of persons. So I want the idea is that how can communicating so much data so quickly help you to form an opinion of what is being presented, right? So we want to understand the source first, right? So we're looking at an example of how this statistician, right? He died actually recently, right? I think right before COVID, I think, right? It wasn't COVID that killed him, but he just died recently, right? And he was famous for communicating, but through infographics. And he did this very famous presentation. It was on the news and all these places. So it's a recording of it that I'm showing you here. But I'm just showing you how the infographic allow you to easily see what he's saying about so much people, right? So we're gonna kind of go forward a little bit. It's talking about how because there are so many children in countries like Bangladesh, and they used to use how they introduced birth control, and then he's going to go back to the graph to show you how it affected world population.
So how successful has Taslima and Bangladesh been in reducing fertility rate? That is, number of babies born per woman. In Sweden, we set up Gapminder Foundation to make the world's data available in a way that everyone can understand. So I can show you the situation in Bangladesh and what has
Sir,
happened.
that graph is coming from a device on the floor.
Babies per woman, all the way from 1 to 2 to 7 to 8.
Pretty cool. He's standing behind this he's standing behind like a transparent glass. And I don't know if you've ever seen, like, you can find some tech YouTuber with the transparent TV. Similar kind of technology. I don't know if you can find it out there. Most people don't buy a transparent TV because, you know, but like if you're advertising like products in a store, those are people who would buy a transparent TV because you can have the television as a glass and then the product behind the graphics. So it's a similar kind of projection technology that he was using, right? So you can see like he's behind that transparent screen, right? All right. Let's continue.
And here, a vertical axis, that is lifespan, life expectancy. How many years a newborn can expect to live, from 30 all the way up to 90. Now, we start in 1972, a very important year for Bangladesh, the first full year of independence. That year, Bangladesh was over there, and they had on average 7 babies per woman, and lifespan was less than 50 years. So what has happened after independence? Have life become longer in Bangladesh? Have children become fewer? Here is the data. I start Bangladesh. Indeed, you know, life is getting longer and babies fewer, 6, 5, and life even longer, 4, 3, and they land now almost to 2. It's 2.2, and the lifespan is 70. It's absolutely amazing. In 40 years, Bangladesh have gone from 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's a miracle that has happened in Bangladesh. But is it only in Bangladesh? Well, I'll show you the whole world. I will go back 50 years in time to 1963. Here are all the countries. And these green ones is America, North and South. The yellow ones is Europe, East and West. And blue is Africa, North and South of the Sahara. And red is Asia, and we include Australia and New Zealand. The size of the bubble show the size of the population. Look, the big ones over there is China and India, and Bangladesh is just behind. In 1963, the average number of babies born per woman in the world was 5. But it was a divided world. Can you see that? These countries over here, the developed countries, they had small families and long lives. And then there were the developing countries over here, and they had large families and short lives, and very few were in between. But now we'll see what has happened. I start the world. Here we go. And you can see that China is getting, the big bubble is getting to better health, and then they start family planning, they move along to smaller families, and the big green, look at Mexico. Mexico is coming there, and this is
like a horse race.
Brazil, also the green in Latin America, and here India is following. India is following. The big red bubbles are Asian countries going this way. Many Africans are still with many babies born per woman, and then Bangladesh over there overtakes India on its way to the small family, and now almost all go up to this bubble. Even Africa now starts to move. Ooh, that was the earthquake in Haiti. And now everyone ends up there. What a change we have. Today, you know, in the world, the average is 2.5. Imagine, you know, it used to be 50 years ago 5, and the world has changed. The average number of babies born per woman have gone from 5 to 2.5, and it's still decreasing. What a big change. People would think that Bangladesh and countries like that is some sort of epicenter of a population bomb. They couldn't be more wrong. To me, health workers like Mrs. Taslima and their colleagues, who have taken their countries from this side all over in a few decades to much better health and small families, they are the heroes of our time. It's an amazing change that has happened. We no longer live in a divided world. But how much do people know about this amazing change? At Gapminder, we not only show data, we also measure how much people know or don't know about the world. So we did a first survey in Sweden. The results were depressing. So we did our second survey in Britain. And we had high hopes because the British have been all over the place, you know. So we thought we would get good results here. The first question we asked was, how many babies do women have on average in Bangladesh? And we gave 4 alternatives: 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, or 5.5. This is the result of the British survey. But you know the right answer. It's 2.5. Only 12% of the British got it right. So we thought that perhaps it was those with low education who dragged down the result. So we segmented those who had been to the fine British universities and had a university degree. And here they are. This is the result. If anything, worse. So now you may conclude that the British lack knowledge about the world. What if I would have asked this chap and his friends? I would have written the different answers on bananas and let them pick one banana each, you know? This result I would get. Of course, chimps know nothing about Bangladesh. But by pure random, they will pick twice as many correct answers as the British. And of the British, you know, more than half of the British people think it's 4.5 or more. The problem here is not lack of knowledge, it's preconceived ideas. The British cannot even imagine, cannot even guess that women in Bangladesh have 2.5, and you know it's really 2.2 already. This is what the Brits don't know, that Taslima and her family are the norm in Bangladesh today, the most common family size. And it's not only there, it's all over the world. In Brazil, 2-child families. Vietnam, 2-child families. And even in India, the most common family size is 2 children today. And also, if you go to the African continent, you go to the big cities here, Addis Ababa, you have less than 2 children per woman today in Addis Ababa.
All right. So what this presentation was about is, at the time, it was tackling what direction is really world population going in. But instead of putting it in an article or speaking about it, this professor chose to use infographics to demonstrate it, right? And this, I mean, this is about an hour long, so it goes into all sorts of different visualizations, comparing different datas and doing it in a visual way. And at the end of it, there was like a conclusion to say that, you know, we're going to probably end up in the Earth having less population rather than overpopulation. But the point of it all is, to get the point across, it had to be a combination of infographics. So this is kind of where the source of and the purpose of infographics, it lets us process large amounts of information, right? And the first thing that we're going to do,
Sure, you're muted.
yes, right. So, okay, rewind. So what I'm saying is that the whole point of this video was to show how this professor used infographics to get the point across that human population is actually decreasing and not increasing. And if you compare it to him just doing like publishing an article or something like that, it would have way less impact than to represent it as infographics. So the video is about an hour long. I have placed it on the site. You guys can check it out. It's pretty cool. There we go. It's up here, right below here. If I hit refresh, let's see it. You should see it now. There we go. You can check it out. Check out the rest of it if you want. But next week, we're going to look on infographics and look at the bones of infographics and how do you create infographics. The purpose of doing this is that we want to know how we can, in architecture, communicate a mountain of information, but as a diagram, as an infographics diagram. But before we start to do that, we have to kind of understand what infographics is. And then we're going to inject architecture into infographics and go from there. All right. So We're gonna have a lecture in the first session, and then in the afternoon session, you guys are gonna basically come up with some concepts as to what your infographic would look like. All right. And this is very simple infographic. We're not talking moving stuff and animating stuff. Pretty simple infographics. All right. We're gonna try and use the OneNote notebook to do this. All right. So in the practical session, we will help you, we will help each other to come up with the infographic design. And then you guys are going to actually do it. So you're going to use Illustrator, InDesign, whatever program you want to use. It's totally up to you. All right. You will know more next week when we lift the curtain on our first infographic assignment. All right. So that's just a quick trailer for what is coming. All right. I hope you guys are all set up. I see you have your spaces ready for your online classes. And hopefully you took some tips from the digital note-taking to help supercharge your note-taking for your other classes and for this class as well. All right. So that is pretty much it for this week. All right, guys.
So one
Remember.
question.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm sharing the OneNote, should it be able to edit by the other person or view only?
Yeah, make it editable. Because remember, this notebook is only for us in advanced computing between me and each one of you. So it needs to be editable for both parties. All right?
Okay.
Right. Because there might be some things that maybe I will sketch on my phone and it will show for you, or you sketch on your phone and it show for me. Just like what you saw me doing in our little demonstration. All right.
Sir, just to go back to it, it's share, and what am I supposed to copy?
Right. So you're going to go to share, and you're going to go to share. Let me zoom in here.
I'm not seeing that option. That's what I'm not sure.
Oh, you're not seeing that in yours?
No.
Are you using, well, you're on Windows, right? Are you on a Windows or a tablet, or? If you don't see share over here, you're probably using another version.
Go to
You
file. Go to file and press share.
Right. You can go to file and you see share over here. Yeah. All right.
Oh, so we're supposed to press not view but edit so that the person
Right.
can edit.
Anyone with the
alright.
link can edit. And then
Okay.
you're going to copy the link here. You're going to copy this link and paste it in. So when you go to the mirror board here and you go to submit this class activity, there we go. You just paste your link right here. All right. And remember to paste your work profile board. Take a screenshot and put on your board. All right. Okay, guys. I think we have come to the end. We didn't do bad. 8:30. Hopefully it's not too late for everyone. So we'll try to aim for this time for the average class. It might go on to 9 o'clock for like classes that maybe we have some heavy duty stuff dealing with, but for the most part, I think we can get through most of the stuff in an hour, in 2 hours or thereabout. All right, guys.
Excuse me, sir. Can I talk to you briefly after class or after the meeting?
Sure, no problem. You want to talk to me straight or in a room? Okay, all right. Well, go ahead then. If you don't have to be private.
Sir, it's about the first assignment from AC1.
Right.
I don't know if there's any updates on it.
Right. I will need to check because what happened, I couldn't deal with the requests yet because I had some other requests from other students, but we had to push through whatever changes need to make, we're going to have to make them as change a grade and stuff like that. But I have to wait until the current stuff was processed. So I want you to follow up with me. That reminds me, we'll talk about this next week, but I need to make a group for this class, a Zoom group. As usual, I will make it from the persons that register on the class side. So everybody, please register on the class side. I'll send you an invitation to the Zoom group so that you can just message me directly. All right? So that way we can keep in contact with updates, you know? So you can just follow up with me for the rest of this week. Let me see if it's okay to start to put in requests for any adjustments. All right?
Thank you.
Okie doke. All right, guys. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Cecil.
Yes, I think.